Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The Bridge Street Garage Racing Team, the house racing team of the Vintage Snowmobile podcast. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile podcast, this could be your advertising message. I'm on the phone with Midge Rosebrook. How you doing, Midge?
Good, Mike. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. So, Midge, tell me, what is the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame?
The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame is something Paul Crane and I started here in Lancaster. We felt that there was a need to recognize the guys that used to race here in the East back in what I would call the golden era. Would be from the mid-1960s to the late 70s, maybe early 80s, but mostly I think the meat of the golden era would be definitely the 1970s.
Sure.
And it really, racing here in the eastern United States never really got covered. Those guys never really got recognized like the Midwest guys did, the factory drivers, you know, and the big name distributors and things like that from the Midwest. There's two Hall of Fames out there.
Sure.
And you know, they recognize their guys, and it's sad that the Eastern guys never got recognized. And how this started was, and I can take you back to when we did the 50th reunion of the Lancaster Grand Prix in 2014.
Uh-huh.
The Grand Prix started in 1964 as a side event for the Winter Carnival when Lancaster was celebrating their 200th anniversary. And it took off. And thank you to Timberland Machines, the big Skidoo distributor here in Lancaster. It was basically Bob Bottoms that allowed his crew to help build the track. Roberts Motors stepped in. Butch and Johnny Roberts, they had a Skidoo dealership there. They helped. White Mountain Mac. There was several businesses in town that really stepped forward and helped the Snowdrifters, the Lancaster Snowdrifters. Actually put the event on, but it was a town effort to put this big race on. And at one time, the Lancaster Grand Prix was the largest outdoor winter event in New Hampshire.
Wow.
They were pulling in 15,000 fans. 15,000.
Wow, that's a big crowd.
They counted 15,000 fans for a couple of years there in the early to mid '70s at the Lancaster Fairgrounds.
Wow, that is impressive.
It was a half-mile oval track, horse track.
Horse track, yeah.
And the Polaris factory team to come here in 1966.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Eastman and Randy Heights came and raced in 1966. That was also the first year for the Big Kilkenny Cup, which was donated by Timberland Machines to the Snowdrifters.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
Yeah, and our own Bill Buckland here from town and Bobby Fortin both got their names on that big cup. They were the first two to have their names engraved on the cup in '66.
Nice.
So yeah, and the factory teams came here during the '70s. There would be 10 or 12 fully equipped tractor trailers, 45, 50-foot boxes of the major, distributors and factory teams of the day back then.
Mm-hmm.
Arctic Cat came, Snowjet, Yamaha, Polaris, Skidoo, Mercury, just about every big manufacturer you could think of came here to race at Lancaster.
Nice.
It was quite something. And then the whole thing ended in New England around 1980.
Around 80, okay.
Or thereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that were putting it on, they were getting tired of not getting enough volunteers to help. The insurance started getting more expensive because people were getting hurt. A couple people got killed, and so the insurance started to increase. It got costly.
Sure.
Even though the Grand Prix moved down onto the meadows, it got away from the telephone poles and the hazards of what occurred at the fairgrounds. It was one of the most safest tracks running back then, and everybody touted how great the track was. They iced it down in 1976. Gilles Villeneuve came here with that IFS Scarule.
Oh, yeah.
And cleaned house.
Nice.
Yeah, this was the first. He made his debut here with that IFS Scarule at the Lancaster Grand Prix.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Nice.
He made his national debut, and in the stands watching that day was Bob Eastman from Polaris. He was the team captain, if you will, Bob
Sure.
Eastman.
Yeah.
And his teammate Wes Pesic was there watching, and this was in 1976. And they were so impressed with that Bob went back to the factory. They raced at Bangor that next weekend. They went back to the factory, and he called up a guy by the name of Gordon Rudolph, who had been himself dabbling with IFS sleds on his own. And he says to Gordon, he said he hired him to come help them set up a new Polaris racer for the next season. It turned out to be that RXL.
Oh, yes, with that suspension, that front suspension.
And of course we know that that cleaned house.
Sure.
And but in 1977, also, it was the last year of the Grand Prix.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, 77 was the last year of the Grand Prix. And they raced in Bangor, for a few years after that, and Scarborough. But basically, by 1980, 81, 82, racing dried up here in New England, and that was about it. And everybody went back to their day jobs, and it was a strange thing. I can't think of anything, Mike, in these long, cold New England winters that was ever so as exciting and ever made as big an impact as did snowmobile racing back at its height.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
There's nothing since has been as exciting or as big or made as big an impact financially for these small towns.
And there's nothing else that'll bring people. There's nothing else that'll bring people, thousands and thousands of people, outside in the middle of winter to be spectators or something. Nothing else is going to bring that kind of a crowd.
No, and to bring a dozen factory teams from the Midwest.
Yeah.
To send a team of 5 or 6 drivers, fully equipped tractor-trailer trucks. I remember Bob Clark was in the Hall of Fame. Bob Clark was a multi-Grand Prix chairman during that era. And he said one time, he thought it was 1970 or 71, they held up the races because Team Arctic hadn't showed up yet. Well, they got on to CB, and they located the Team Arctic truck. They said, "Where the heck are you?"
Yeah.
And the driver says, "I'm stuck." And they said, Stuck where?" He said, "I'm stuck here at the intersection." He said, "On your main street." He said, "The traffic going to the track won't let me in." He said, "The traffic is backed up as far as I can see down Lancaster's Main Street, and nobody's letting me in."
Wow.
So they had to escort. They sent a cruiser down, a state police cruiser.
Yeah. And
he escorted Team Arctic's big truck up the left-hand side of the road from that triangle on the end of Main Street there that splits Route 2 and Route 3.
Yes.
And he escorted him up to the fairgrounds on the left-hand side of the road because the traffic was so heavy going in.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
It was something.
Yeah. Now, while we're talking about this, I wonder if you could tell me, too, that Lancaster was obviously a massive location and experience for racing, but there were... How were they doing that? Was there a circuit around New England where they would do Bangor one weekend and Boonville another weekend? And how were they structuring that?
Yeah, that's what they did. Of course, when they came out with the USSA, and they sanctioned, the events, Lancaster was one of the big boys, and we started our date was pretty much set in stone by the time USSA came out because we'd been racing here since 1962.
Wow.
And then, of course, they called it motorized toboggan races in 62 and 63.
Right.
And then they changed it to the Grand Prix to make it sound better, I guess, for the 200th birthday of Lancaster that year. That's why they changed the name.
Yeah.
And so... Yeah, Lancaster was on this circuit. Bangor would be, I think Bangor was a weekend either before or after us, and then they did Scarborough.
Mm-hmm. They
did Jackman. Jackman, I think, was probably one of the first races in the east here, Jackman, Maine. I think that happened like in December or something like that. And yeah, they had a race in Laconia, they had a race in Boonville, New York, and yeah, it was like a circuit. It was big time.
That's cool.
These guys were professionals. They were pulling $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 a weekend in. You know, like Bobby Fortin was one of the big name drivers here in the East, and where I used to work at the golf station here in Lancaster, he always used to come in, and he'd have a check of $1,000 or $1,500 to win.
Wow.
Plus he'd get so much, he'd get a couple $100 from a spark plug company or dry belt company. Yeah, these guys were professionals.
That's cool.
And it was an exciting time.
Yeah,
it really was.
For sure.
And so anyway, when we decided to do a 50th reunion of the Grand Prix, a lot of the old guys that used to race back then came to the reunion. And I even have a photo of a bunch of them lined. You've seen it at Paul Crane's.
Yes.
Those guys all lined up on the racetrack.
Yeah.
And they got me in there, and I kept telling them, I said, I didn't race. I said, I should not be in there. Well, they begged me to they made me go in. So, yeah. I mean, I shouldn't have been in that photo, but I was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's nice, though.
It really got me to thinking, it's sad that these guys never got recognized.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I think that planted a seed.
Now, can you go ahead? I'm sorry.
And I think it did. And then in 2016, we had the national show here.
Yeah.
And it packed the fairgrounds, with a bunch of whole beautiful vintage sleds. It just was an unbelievable show.
Yeah, it was. I was there. That was an incredible show.
Wasn't it great? It was a great show. And so there again, here's Conrad Rollins, Tom Peters, Bruce Dunham,
mm-hmm.
Bob Martin, all came back. And they were getting into it again. So anyway, I said to Paul, I said, I tell you who it was. It was a gentleman from, I think it was the Hall of Fame from St. Germain, Wisconsin, was there selling a raffle sled. He was selling tickets for a raffle sled
mm-hmm.
for that Hall of Fame. And I had, before that, I had sent Bruce Dunham's, Bob Martin, and Conrad Rollins resumes out there just to see what would happen. I wanted to see if maybe I could get one of those guys into the Hall of Fame out there. So
yeah.
Paul approached the guy, and he was on the board of directors as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul asked him what his thoughts of Bruce Dunham making it into the Hall of Fame that year. And he had a puzzled look on his face, and he said, Bruce Dunham. Boy, he said, that doesn't ring a bell. He said, I know he's not in the top 10.
Wow.
And Paul came to me, and Paul says, they're not. He says they don't even know who Bruce Dunham was.
Wow.
He said they're inducting 35 and 40-year-olds out there now, Midge. He said there's no chance.
Yeah.
He said we'll never get them in. He said there's not a chance. So anyway, I went back home. I didn't sleep. Actually, I think I went up to camp up to Maidstone, and I rolled and tossed and turned all night. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, I sat up, and I said right out loud, I said, and my wife wasn't even with me or nobody, I was all alone.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. That's it. And I could not wait. This was Saturday. I could not wait for Sunday morning to get a hold of Paul Crane and ask him, so anyway, about 7 o'clock Sunday morning, I didn't want to get him too early, so I waited until 7. So I grabbed the phone, I dialed Paul's number. Paul answered, and I says, Paul, you sitting down? And he says, no. He said, I could. I said, what are your thoughts on having our own Hall of Fame? I said, we could do it at your museum. Paul says, let's do it.
Nice.
Just like that.
Wow.
And that's how it started.
And the ball has just continued to roll from there.
And it's continued to roll from there. We inducted our first inaugural 4 people into the Hall of Fame in 2017. It was May 19th, I think, of 2017. We inducted our first 4, and then the next year we inducted 5, and then the next year we inducted 5 more, and in this last year we inducted 7.
Nice. Now, can you tell me about some of these people who've been inducted, and also what qualifies someone to be inducted into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame?
You know what? You don't have to have a perfect record.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you say the Hall of Fame, the word fame means famous. Okay, that's just a short for famous.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Hall of the Famous, really.
Sure.
And Tom Peters. For an example, we just inducted Tom Peters this year. He's from northern Maine, way up near the border of Canada. But Tom Peters was a hero to those guys up there. And he never raced in any place but Maine. Never went outside of the Maine borders.
Yeah.
And to those people in those small little towns in northern Maine, there was no bigger name than Tom Peters.
Wow.
And he was actually inducted into the Maine Motorsports Hall of Fame. The only snowmobile racer to be inducted into the Motorsports Hall of Fame.
That's an honor, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
That's a high honor.
But I think they did that because he only raced in Maine.
Yeah.
So, did he have as big a record as Bruce Dunham? No. Did he have as big a record as Cal Reynolds or Bob Fortin?
Right.
No. But to those people in northern Maine, Tom Peters was the biggest name in sports right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the reason why Tom Peters is in the Hall of Fame.
Nice.
And I can pick out a few other people that may not have had perfect records, but they were big names here in the East.
Mm-hmm.
So we try to give, not everybody can make it into the Hall of Fame. I realize that. Everybody should realize that.
Sure.
But if you did something special, if your name was one of the big names in the East, even though you might not have had a huge record,
mm-hmm.
you got a good shot.
Yeah, good shot of being recognized.
And yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got Bruce Dunham in there. Bob Martin is in there. Conrad Rollins. Those are the first guys that we inducted.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Reynolds from Maine is in there. There's quite a few Mainers. We've got, of course, Tom Peters. I just mentioned Tom.
Sure. Paul Lamontagne.
Paul Lamontagne.
Yeah.
Paul was he was big.
Yeah.
Paul was a rough racer, and then later he raced Chaparral, and then he raced Mercury. The name Paul Lamontagne was huge here in New England.
Yeah.
We've got Joe Wilkinson from Massachusetts. We just inducted Joe. Louis Lund, we inducted Louis in
2018, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And Louis only raced maybe 3-4 years. I think he got number 9 bib one year, so he's top 10.
Yeah.
But what made Louis special? He may not have had as big a record, maybe as Bob Fortin, but what made Louis special was he was the first person to drive an IFS sled.
Oh, no kidding, yeah.
Yeah, because he was racing for Harrington King in Randolph, Mass. in 1972. They were the Chaparral distributor. They flew Louis out to Colorado. Chaparral had a secret race sled that they were working on out there.
Yeah.
And guess who he was working with?
Huh.
Bobby Unser.
Oh, no kidding.
Bobby Unser designed the first IFS suspension on a snowmobile, and Louis was the test driver for Bobby Unser.
No kidding.
So
Yeah, that's no
Louis
small.
won. He was the very first person to drive an IFS sled. And what sled today doesn't have an IFS suspension?
Yeah, that's standard today. Yeah.
So that in itself
That's huge.
is a reason why Louis Lund needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and so that's how we pick and choose the folks that need to be there.
Yeah.
You know?
Very nice. Now, what, or I should say, when and where is the next induction ceremony going to be?
The next induction ceremony is going to be September 11th, which in itself is, not a very nice date to maybe have it, but it's the weekend after the fair,
Okay.
and I'll probably say something, about September 11th. And,
Yeah, to kind of honor that solemn moment.
A little something there, right? But it seems to be the best date for us because we're inducting a person from New York who is heavily into stock car racing, and his grandson races stock cars, and he's on the pit crew.
Yeah.
And so that happens to be the only open weekend for them.
Gotcha.
So in order to have him be able to attend the induction, that's the weekend we had to pick.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
And this is going to be at Crane's Museum in Lancaster?
Yes, this will be at Crane's Museum, and we'll do another outside ceremony. That seemed to work really good.
That was very nice.
Hopefully it doesn't rain.
Yeah.
If it does, we'll try to do it Sunday probably.
Yeah.
As a rain day. But hopefully, usually by that time in the fall, we have really, really nice weather.
Yeah. And I'd like to add, too, that if anyone is planning to attend this from out of town, there's no other place to stay.
Lancaster Motel.
The Lancaster Motel, absolutely. There are good friends over there.
Absolutely. They've stepped to the plate. They are so all over this thing. The Lancaster Motel grew up with snowmobile racing. I believe that was built in 1956.
Mm-hmm.
It was built by Norman McLaughlin.
Yeah.
His daughter Sally married Mike Beatty, who is in the Hall of Fame at Riverside Speedway as a stock car racer. He was a well-known stock car racer here in New England back during the 60s and early 70s.
Yeah.
And Mike Beatty was a multi-Grand Prix chairman. So there's a big history of the Lancaster Grand Prix tied to the snowmobile circuit racing.
Yeah. And didn't they used to have the award ceremony at the Lancaster Motel?
That's where they had the award ceremonies during the original Grand Prix.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the racers stayed there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, can you just imagine, Mike, bellying up to the bar with Bob Eastman or Larry Coltham?
That would be amazing.
Or one of the Trapp brothers, they were all here. That's where they stayed.
That would be amazing.
This place is huge.
Yeah.
Not in size, but in history.
Yeah, the history is rich.
Yeah, very rich with the Lancaster Motel. So I think we probably will have to make that our official site.
I agree.
For the Hall of Fame, the Lancaster Motel is the official place to stay.
Yeah, for sure. There's no other.
And and they fixed the rooms all up. The people that just purchased the motel have done a tremendous job on the place. They've gone through every room. They put in all new Wi-Fi, new TVs, refurbished every room.
New flooring, everything.
They brought it back up to snuff, and it's going to be it's a great asset.
Yeah,
to
and
the
it's just
town and to this Hall of Fame.
and it's just walking distance from the ceremony.
Yeah, it's only a block away.
Yeah, from Crane's Museum and the ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this: each year that I attend this induction ceremony, the crowd gets bigger and bigger. So this is something that's growing, and the future is looking bright. What are you thinking are plans for the future for the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame? What are you thinking about the future of this?
Well, we're going to try to continue adding more of the original racing pioneers that raced, back in the day.
Yeah.
They're getting older all the time. They're in their late 70s, mid-late 70s, early 80s, and we'd like to get them, here while they're still with us.
Yes, the clock is ticking.
That being said, when I did Cal Reynolds in 2018, we put Cal on the wall, and he was huge back then. He was a skidoo racer, and he won about everything going.
Yeah.
And anyway, after the ceremony, instead of going up for photos, instead of thinking about himself, Mike, I felt an arm across my shoulder, and it was Cal Reynolds whispering in my ear.
Huh.
He said, Midge, he said, Bob Fortin really needs to be up there. And I says, I know, Mike. I says, I know, Cal. You know what, though? What we're thinking about doing is getting all the people up there that are with us first, and then we'll try to do the ones that have passed away at a later date. And he shook his head and he said, Midge, he said, that Bob Fortin needs to be up there more sooner than later.
Yeah.
And so I told Paul what Cal said, and Paul said, yeah. He said, what we probably should do is induct 4 people that are with us, and maybe one who's passed away each year.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Their families aren't getting any younger either.
That's true, isn't it? Yeah.
Good
point.
So in 2019, we had Bob Fortin's 2 sons, Michael and David, attend. And I asked Cal, I emailed Cal, and I said, Calvin, would you please say a few good words about Bob Fortin, because you raced against him. He raced for Timberland Machines, and he knew Bob very well. He said, certainly. He said, I'd love to do that. So I introduced Cal when we did Bob, and his 2 sons stood up there. It was quite moving.
I remember that. It was very touching.
Yeah. So, yeah, Calvin did that for us, and we thanked him. And I know he's a busy man. Cal's got several businesses over in Maine there that he has to attend, and so I said to him, I said, when he said, yeah, he said, I would do Bob Fortin for you guys and say a few good words about him.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm just pleased that you could do this just one more time for us, Cal. I know you're busy. He said, Midge, let me tell you something. He said, as long as me and my wife Mary Ann are able, we will be attending every single Hall of Fame induction that you're going to hold here from now on.
Nice. And he's true to his word. I've seen him at every one.
Yeah. And he spoke this year at Ted Wynot. Ted Wynot, of course, was the flagman for those guys for years and years. He was also a Yamaha representative, and Cal sold Yamaha over there in Maine. So Ted was over there a lot, and he was a good friend of Cal's, and so Cal spoke a few nice words about Teddy this year.
That was nice,
too,
yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So any final words, Mitch, before we close this interview? Do you have any final thoughts you'd like to add about the Hall of Fame?
Well, I just want to tell you folks how much we appreciate Mike LaPierre here that's interviewing me. Mike has gone overboard for us, and I just have to put that in.
I appreciate that.
We really appreciate everything you do, Mike.
Well, you're very welcome.
As far as this Hall of Fame, we hope to continue this down the road, and we hope to get as many of our original pioneer racers who were big names back then on the wall at Paul Crane's museum, and that's basically where we're at. And these inductions are free. Anybody can attend. Bring a lawn chair and join us. If you are my age, I'm going to be 70 in March. If anybody out there remembers those events the way I did, and stood out in the cold for 3 hours or 4 hours watching those guys race, if you can remember the exciting time that was, then this is for you.
Yeah,
because
reliving the golden age.
You get to cheer these guys on. You get to shake their hand. You get to talk to them, and you get to see these guys be recognized. That it was just an event that will never come back again. We'll never ever see anything that exciting again. And if you want to relive those moments just one more time, please join us. And the next event is September 11th, 2021, at Paul Crane Snowmobile Museum in Lancaster.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to that, to what you just said. Right now is the golden age of celebrating the golden age of snowmobiling.
Exactly.
It truly is. And I'd like to invite everyone who's within driving distance to come on by and enjoy it with us. It grows, it gets bigger every year. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah, stay at the Lancaster Motel.
Yeah.
Yeah, and come by to the after party at the Lancaster Motel as well. It's a wonderful time.
They have an after party at the motel. I mean, back years ago during the Grand Prix, I told these guys, I said, you race handlebar to handlebar all day long and stand elbow to elbow at the bars all night.
That's true.
It was. They used to pull the engines off because, these guys. These guys are crazy. They used to pull the engines off their sleds and take them inside the motel room and rebuild them for the next day's race.
Nice. And that's one of the remarkable things too about racing is they can be so ruthlessly competitive out on the track, but after the race is over, they party together and they have a good time and they laugh about it.
Yeah.
It's incredibly ironic, but it's a wonderful thing about racing is that the relationships are more important than anything. It's a wonderful thing.
They made lifelong friends, Mike.
Yeah.
These guys, when their eyes light up the minute they see an old competitor.
Yeah.
That they haven't seen for 40 years.
Yeah. And to watch them reminisce, it's a truly special thing.
They're
in heaven when they're doing it. They love it. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's more like a family reunion.
It is.
Yeah.
And to hear all those old stories, and because they can recall like a specific moment on some turn in the track during a race where things were happening, and kind of relive that, and it's incredible.
Yeah, or laugh because about an incident that some guy pushed them off the track when they were in the lead, and they'd say, "You pushed me off the track, you pushed me over the bank," or something like that, and then they laugh about it. They probably weren't laughing at the time, but
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is only gonna be a small window here too.
It's true. The clock is ticking for all of us.
Like I just said, they're 75 80 years old, 85 years old, and they're not going to be around forever.
Yeah. Yeah, the clock is ticking on all of
We
this.
got a small window here to enjoy these guys.
Yeah, to really do something with this.
And to appreciate these guys.
Yeah.
And women.
Yes. Yeah, there were some truly remarkable women in this racing as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Judy Rinaldi.
Yes.
10 World Series.
That's incredible.
She won 10 World Series.
Yeah, that's amazing.
No man has ever done that before. So, you know, she's, I mean, there's nobody close.
No.
Unbelievable. And
the nice thing about her too is to think about someone so accomplished, but to visit with her, she's just the easiest person to talk to and the most relatable, personable person. Very down to earth, just a classy lady. It's and I could say the same of the rest of them as well. You know, for all of their accomplishments, they're very down to earth. Yeah,
those are the nicest people.
It's true. Yeah, no egos, just very approachable.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
Yeah, they all are.
It's true.
Yeah. No, Paul LaMontagne. I mean, who wouldn't want to party with Paul LaMontagne?
Yes. He is the best guy to hang out with.
Lucky guy.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun to visit with.
He's a lot of fun.
He really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, I appreciate your time with us, Midge, and yeah, we'll close it out. But I really appreciate your time, and we'll have more interviews on this topic, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Alrighty.
I've got more tales to tell.
Well, good. We'll look forward to it.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for this,
Today
Mike.
on VintageSnowmobileLovers.com, we're in Lancaster, New Hampshire at Crane's Snowmobile Museum. And our good friends Midge Rosebrook and Paul Crane are just about to give us a tour of the museum. How you doing, guys? Good. Before we get started, Paul is the first person in the U.S. ever to ride a snowmobile. Do I understand that correctly?
A skidoo.
A skidoo, okay.
Skidoo only. I wasn't the first to ride a snow machine. I was the first one to ride a skidoo.
Nice.
American, and first American to ride a skidoo.
Nice.
In Canada and here.
Excellent. Not many people can lay claim to that.
I don't believe so.
That's amazing. Awesome.
We'll just start down this row here.
All right.
Everybody can understand what just by looking at them, what they are. So we'll go down this row here first, and we'll on the end wall here, we have some of the clothing. Most of them are practically mine in the family that rode things.
Nice. So these are yours from back in the day, you and your family?
A lot of them are. I would say that 80% of them are.
Nice.
And at the end here is a Scatmobile, which is rare. It's got 3 real big bloom tires. It was made out in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I met the guy years ago, and he was driving a Stanley steamer up his driveway, and I told him I just picked one of those up and I'm going to start a museum someday, and he said, I'm going to give you something, young man, something that nobody has. My first sign that was put on the factory. And it's a plywood sign. It's a little rough, but I was going to cut the bottom part off where it was rotten, but I just figured it would lose the value of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. That's quite a gift to receive.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Cool.
Then I got patches on the back wall.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Patches on the back wall. Yeah. And
See if I can get in a little closer on that one.
And up on the rack over here, we got some of the small snow machines.
I remember the kitty cat from back in the day.
Yeah. Then we got the 1926 Model T snowmobile, which is a foot narrower than the average snowmobile. And if you look at the running board, it says snowmobile right on it,
Really?
which is rare.
Right here on the step.
Yeah.
Wow. And what year was this, Paul? You said 1920 something?
1926 is the plate.
Oh, yes, yeah. Wow.
I usually give rides when the snow's deep. I haven't done it this year yet, but I will be.
Nice. Then some more mini sleds up top.
Sleds on the top. Then over in the corner here we have some more mini snows plus a couple old sleighs.
Nice. And then these are some of the early mass-produced ski-doos?
This is a 61 skidoo with the wooden skis. This is a 61 skidoo with the replaceable steel skis, because the wooden ones we'd go out in the field and we'd break them.
Huh. Wow. Now that first sled that you rode, was it similar to this one, or
Just like that.
just like this one?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it was a 1960.
1960. Okay.
Yeah. I have one, but I haven't got it over here yet.
Okay.
The 1960. Skidoo Elite. I sold those, and they sold in 1995.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That one has got 200 and something miles on it.
Unreal. That's a nice shape. And I think they stopped making those in, what, 2005 or something?
They started
The Elite?
2004 and 5, I think they made a silver one.
Yeah. A much more modern looking one. Was that the last year, do you know?
Yeah,
It was, okay. I like that TNT. The old silver.
Lux Nordic.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Now I see a shift lever on that. Did that have reverse?
Yes, reverse. Yeah.
Nice. And did it have like a low gear for
No, that's just the regular.
just a reverse? Okay.
But it's mint. It's only got 200 and something miles on it.
Nice. A buddy of mine growing up had a silver bullet like that.
Then we have the 64 tin cab motor ski,
Wow.
which they didn't make very many of them. Then a 65 motor ski. Then the racing motor ski, which is a 634 Herc. Yeah. And then this here was a 500 racing sled that apparently, so I've been told, the factory had it, yeah. Motor ski factory had it.
Wow. That's cool.
And then a Zephyr, which is all original.
Wow. 1970, yeah. I remember these Nuvics back in the day.
Yeah.
My father's friend had one just like that.
Then a pink motor ski was made from a friend of mine for his daughter.
Wow. That is cool. You don't see those every day.
No.
It's got some ski spreaders on there too.
Yeah.
Keep it stable.
His daughter wanted it pink.
Nice.
And this here is a rare 340 motor ski bullet.
Wow.
And the 340 Sonic, Supersonic, Pro sled. Then the Racing Northway, they only made 21 of them.
21. Wow.
Sleds, yeah.
That's a real big hood. Does that mean there's a real big engine underneath? Or?
Yeah, it's a 440.
440, yeah. Nice. And this Racing Cat.
Then a 76 Snow Pro.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's one of the cooler looking sleds ever to be on the snow, I think.
And then the Husky.
Yes, yeah.
Of course, the RV, Ski-Doo RV that they raced in '75.
Nice, those were awesome.
Then the Snow Cruiser, which was a Rapido 500, which, as far as I know, there's only 4 of those in existence.
4 of those, wow. That's amazing.
There's one in New Brunswick, I understand. I've seen that one. And I understand there's one up in Peterborough where they came from. And I don't know if the one's still in New Jersey or not, but there was one down there.
Nice. We had one like this when I was a kid. It was the consumer model, though, not the Starfire.
Yeah.
That was fast. Even the consumer model, the 250, was really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about AMSOIL. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your AMSOIL products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what AMSOIL is and why you should consider using AMSOIL products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. AMSOIL is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses AMSOIL for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that AMSOIL is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because AMSOIL doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And AMSOIL likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves them money. Some of the people like the benefit of AMSOIL is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, AMSOIL says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the AMSOIL bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the AMSOIL. AMSOIL's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero.
Wow.
If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out, and once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So AMSOIL is an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running AMSOIL than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And AMSOIL is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear lube? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that AMSOIL has available.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully, this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the AMSOIL experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen, and yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
AMSOIL has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, AMSOIL will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer. You save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. AMSOIL sends you extra gifts, a $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account, and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value, and this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering AMSOIL. Is that correct?
It is.
Wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an AMSOIL order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to amsoil.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, amsoil.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the Preferred Customer Program page, where you can take advantage of all of these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says Shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click Shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil, and you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've joined the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click Add to Cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click View Cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order that gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of the Signature Series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click Checkout Now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an AMSOIL account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name, and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to AMSOIL. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike LaPierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for AMSOIL under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. And the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for that, for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your AMSOIL Preferred Customer Program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, WKSpodcasts gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the Vintage Snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters "free DVD requests" so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering AMSOIL as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from AMSOIL, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up and you can buy directly from AMSOIL. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the AMSOIL marketing plan. AMSOIL has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing or hot rods, we have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business that's I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing AMSOIL for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with AMSOIL. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate AMSOIL leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes. And just by wearing my AMSOIL hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about AMSOIL.
Wonderful.
People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the products.
Perfect. Well, cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
AMSOIL's a fun business. AMSOIL's been around since 1968. It was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the AMSOIL products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the AMSOIL products or to join the AMSOIL team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.